everybody. Scott Shireman here, coming to you from a Soulcast on a beautiful spring Friday morning. This is May the 1st. That's right, May, the best month of the year. My favorite month of the year is May. Always has been. Hey, today would have been the OAKS Day, and for any of you outside of the Kentuckiana region, you might say, I don't even know what he's talking about. Basically, for a couple weeks out of the year, the whole entire focus of our metropolitan area is all about the Kentucky Derby Festival. That's horse racing, but it's way more than a horse race. It's a celebration. It's kind of like a holiday season here. But all that's been pushed off to the fall, allegedly. I guess it's going to happen in the fall. I don't know. I haven't written down the dates even yet, but I think it's in the fall. So, yeah, it would have typically been a big time today. A lot of people would have actually taken off work today locally or been off. There's even some businesses that were actually closed on OAKS Day, which is the day before the Kentucky Derby. There's races. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it. Unless you lived here, it probably doesn't mean anything to you. But for those of you who do live here in the Kentucky area, today would have been OAKS Day. And man, is it pretty out. I mean, what's one of the big things is when you're talking about outdoor events like horse racing and big festival party things, weather is, man, you couldn't have got a more perfect 75 and clear, perfect weather, okay? Just perfect. So anyway, that's not happening today. So what is happening today? Well, I want to encourage you today with some thoughts I had. I've been thinking about technology and what an important role it's playing right now in all of our lives. I for my age demographic, I think I've kept up with technology pretty well. I embrace technology. I've always enjoyed, audio, video, electronic, computer, whatever you want to throw in technology, internet. I might not be the earliest of adapters, but I'm a quick adapter and an eager adapter. That's what I like. And in this human-to-human condition we're in, it's the only way to really communicate with some folks is through technology. And my heart goes out to some folks who've had no embracing of it at all. Maybe they don't even have a cell phone. I mean, it's hard as to imagine. There are people who didn't have cell phones or have an internet address or know how to get on the internet at all or have an email address. There's folks out there that, that's their case. They just made a decision at some point that they were never going to need anything that the internet had to offer, that they could do without it. And I just wonder how those people are adjusting right now. I just can't imagine not being able to communicate with the outside world, with people, because we can't do it face to face right now, or we shouldn't be, or we're asked not to be, or I don't know where you stand on that. I'm not going to open up that can of worms. But I just want to encourage you, embrace the technology options we have right now. Because my belief is, and this is just as I see it, I don't know nothing. Okay, if you're listening to me, and I don't know anything. That's my first statement. I don't know anything. But here's what I think. I think some of the changes that we've seen come about in this COVID spring we've been in is they're gonna hang around. I mean, they're not gonna go away. I don't compare it to this lightly, but if you think about what it was like to fly on an airplane before 9/11, those of you who might be old enough to remember that, and what it's like to fly on an airplane now, there's a whole lot of differences. I mean, it's a different experience altogether. From the customer standpoint, from the airport standpoint, we have a whole Homeland Security department of our government since then that didn't exist before. But anyway, I think there's going to be changes that have come about that are going to remain, and people are going to say, wow, I kind of like that. And these are just my opinions, okay? So I'm going to give you one example is the grocery store shopping experience. The order online, then pull up, call them, they bring it out to your car. Man, that's awesome. I'm never going back. That's the only way I'm going to shop for groceries from now on. For a couple of reasons. One, it's a whole lot faster. It saves me a whole lot of time. It saves me money because I tend not to buy things impulsively as I would walking down the aisle and I see a big store display and I go, oh, look, the new Cheetos are in, or the new whatever, the new double almond Snickers or whatever. Oh, I'm going to try it. I don't do that. The impulsivity is not there. I tend to think a little bit more methodically about what I'm buying and what do I really need it or not. And then at the end of my shopping experience online, I go back and look at my order and I go, nah, I don't need that. I take it out. So, which I can't do once I already have something in my cart and I get all the way up there. I feel compelled once it's in the cart to buy it. So for me, it's a better shopping experience. It's better. Not because of the COVID-19 thing, but it's just better. It saves me time. It saves me money. It's more convenient. I can schedule it in advance around my schedule. I love it. I'm not going back. I'm sticking with it. So that's one thing. The other thing, I think there's going to be people that are going to find that some of the things that have changed in their life, they're going to continue. I think in the business world, I think the days of face-to-face meetings for a lot of them, especially first meetings with someone, when you're just trying to get to know them or learn about their business or let them learn about you, or introductory business meetings, call them, I think the majority of those will be done via Zoom or whatever the app is that rises to the top for that. Right now, I believe it to be Zoom. I think that's gonna continue. I think business travel is going to be cut way down. I think you're going to have companies that have seen over this COVID spring, okay, we didn't spend money going to conventions and we didn't spend money on corporate travel and we survived. Maybe that's not a necessary thing that we have to do moving forward. You know, maybe all that travel and all the convention experience and all that was not really helping our business. You know, in the past, companies that have done convention business, you know, went and exhibited at conventions, have had a hard time proving ROI on their efforts because they didn't have something fair to compare it to. They'd been doing the Consumer Electronics Show for 25 years. They couldn't envision not doing it, okay? So they had no baseline. They could only compare it to last year and the year before and the year before and the year before. And of course the numbers were always similar. Now they have some experiences. Some companies have some experiences where they didn't attend the convention at all, a trade convention per se. And now they can say, we don't really need that. That hasn't helped us. And I think the same goes for person-to-person business travel. You know, I think the business travel industry is going to be way down in the future compared to what it's been. Now we have a whole lot of companies and people that are experienced with the communicating via Zoom digitally, and it's way less expensive and it's productive and it's easier to schedule, it's less intrusive, and I think you're going to have a whole lot of people continue to do business that way. Same goes for corporations that have huge buildings that they've housed employees in cubicles. Excuse me. And now they've had tremendous amounts of their employees working from home. And I think some of these companies, subsequently, I'm driving through downtown Louisville right now. And there's huge office buildings down here that are typically full of workers. Okay, you can see some of them there in my roof. That all these folks are working from home. Okay. Well, I don't know what the cost is to air condition and electric and heat and everything for one of these huge office complexes, but it's got to be a lot. And I think you're going to see corporations go, wait a minute, we don't need these huge office buildings. Even if we're at 90% effective with our employees working from home, they're paying their own electric, their own heat, their own water, they're buying their own toilet paper. We don't have to worry about providing any of that. We don't have to provide a desk. We don't have to provide any of that stuff, right? They have it at home. We're almost as effective as we were. And as we move forward, we'll become as effective because we'll find ways to, people to do reports remotely and conductivity, which will cut into the need for office space as we've known it. The corporate huge building with 187,000 cubicles in it. Whether it's a huge insurance, I'm passing the Humana building right now in downtown Louisville. I mean, it's huge. I don't know how many cubicles are in this thing. A bunch. There's a bunch of cubicles in here. So that's going to cut into other things. So when a company says, we're not going to do it that way anymore, we're moving forward, well, then it's going to cut into other things. You're not going to have as much of a need for people that work in that physical location. They're not going to have a need. They're going to have to pay, a big, huge janitor or maintenance staff. Their IT department's going to change. Their IT department's going to be the one working remotely and going from house to house, making sure their team members are online and everything's functioning. So that's another. Now, I'm going to talk about another one. Now, this one is a little more controversial, but as you know, I'm a Christian, and I love church. I love the personal interaction. I love going to church. I love being a member of a church. It's in-person worship is a preference for me, okay? But I have a feeling that because a lot of us have learned to worship through our church's live streaming and remote premiere video casting and things like that, I think there's going to be a large group of people, at least for the foreseeable future, who are going to continue to worship that way. They're just going to say, I kind of like getting up a little later and being able to worship from the comfort of my home in my pajamas as we have breakfast as a family together, and then we worship and everybody's safe and I don't have to worry about anything, and I don't have to worry about getting the kids dressed up and I know tradition that's not traditional. I get it, okay, but events like we have had now, this COVID spring, which I'm dubbing it COVID spring in the future. Like people said the Great Depression, they're going to say COVID spring, okay? So I think that you're going to see a lot of these changes take effect. Now, for some of the more radical ideas, okay, I think you're going to see currency disappear the next few years from the United States and probably the world, at least the parts of the world that are civilized. Currency is a great vehicle for transmitting virus and dirt, okay? I love coins and dollar currency collection, and I'm fascinated by currency. But have you ever heard of a thing called where'sgeorge.com? It's a way you can track a bill from the time you enter the serial number of the bill and see where it goes, and somebody else enters it. And it's really fascinating to watch how a bill can travel across our world that way. But think about how many people touch currency and how many hands a dollar bill can go through in a day or a week or a month or a year. It can touch a whole lot of people, and if you're really concerned about germs, don't handle money. It's one of the dirtiest things on the planet. There's plenty of scientific research that can back this up if you don't believe your old buddy Scott here. But I think there's two reasons. I think one, our society has been consistently moving to a cashless society. Two, I think the government would save a fortune by not having to manufacture and manage paper currency and coin currency, fractional currency. The amount of revenue it would be tremendous. I don't know how. I did read a study one time how much the government would save if they did away with just the penny, did away with pennies. That it actually cost more to produce pennies and maintain that system than they're actually worth. But anyway, I'm fascinated by stuff like that. So anyway, in wrapping all this up, there's going to be a lot of long-term changes, okay, to everything. So I just want to encourage you to roll with the changes. I see so many people getting so frustrated with everything. It's like, man, chill. Just it's going to be okay. Now, I'm not speaking of people who've lost loved ones or you're in a financial desperate situation. Man, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to people that have everything they need and they're just feeling inconvenienced by this. I'm sorry. But comparatively, if this is just a minor inconvenience or you're not able to do your hobbies, like I'm not able to do, I haven't played music with my band in, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks. It's by far the longest we've ever been without getting together. There's no foreseeable future for that, for shows. Those have all been canceled, which is another industry I think that's going to be devastated long term. The entertainment business, the movie theaters I think they're going to go away. You're going to see them go the way of the drive-in movie theater. I'm afraid, my fear for concerts coming back as we knew them, it's going to take a long time, folks. It ain't going to be in 6 weeks and you're going to have a big show somewhere. It's going to be a long time. But anyway, I just want to encourage you. Amusement parks. There's another one. Disney, they don't know what they're going to do. Have any of you ever been to Disney World or Disneyland or Disney Paris or any of those Disney parks? They're just one big social gathering. I mean, people are packed in everywhere, on buses, on monorails, and hotels, and queues to get on attractions, at parades, at fireworks. I mean, there's no way to social distance that. And they can't afford to open the parks up to only let 1/10 of the people in that used to come in. They can't keep it. They're in a real dilemma. I don't know how that's because there's going to be people that are not going to go back for a while. Even if the parks are totally open and everything's wide open, there are going to be people that are going to say, for this year, we're going to skip Disney. It's just too soon. We want to just see how things work out. And then you're going to have people that financially, due to this COVID spring, they're not going to do vacations just simply because they don't have the money. They're going to say, man, we were off work for 6 weeks with no pay and or whatever the situation is, 8 weeks, whatever. And we're going to have to make some sacrifices. And one of them is we're not going to be able to afford our family trip to Las Vegas to the casinos or whatever it is, okay? That's going to be a big change. So there's going to be lots and lots of changes. And I just want you to embrace technology as a way to inform yourself, okay, about what's going on, to stay in touch with loved ones and others, and find ways to be creative and productive in your life. So anyway, I am here at work and getting ready to put my mask on. And I'll show you my mask right here. Hold on, getting my mask out. I'm going to put my mask on right here. Let's do a demo for everybody. Okay. And there you go. So, I'm wishing you a wonderful Friday. What would have been Oaks Day? God bless you and keep you. See you soon. Bye-bye.